Now we are going to learn the ESC. Our lands, our lives, and all are bowling brooks, and nothing can we call our own but death. We have to write the reference. These lines are taken from the poem The Hollow Crown, which is an excerpt from Shakespeare's Second Richard. Context: the poet wants to say that Second Richard had to face only death. Explanation: King Richard's cousin Bolingbroke attacked him, and he knew that he would be defeated. He was with his loyal followers. At the time of utter dejection, he uttered these words. He says now that nothing belongs to him. Whatever he has will be taken over by Bolingbroke after his victory. Their land and their life now belong to Bolingbroke. They are left with only one thing, that is their death. Second one, all murdered, for within the hollow crown that rounds the moral temples of a king keeps death his core. Reference: these lines are taken from the poem The Hollow Crown, which is an excerpt from Shakespeare's Second Richard. Context: the poet says that the crown was hollow without any real power. Explanation: King Richard's cousin Bolingbroke attacked him, and he knew that he would be defeated. He was with his loyal followers. At the time of utter dejection, he uttered these words. All the kings were killed. Some were poisoned by their wives. Some were slain in war. Some were killed while sleeping. The king's crown is hollow in the middle, which means the power of the king is not solid and strong. Death is like a jester who grants the king temporary license to rule. Third one, comes at the last and with a little pain bores through his castle wall, and farewell king. These lines are taken from the poem The Hollow Crown, which is an excerpt from Shakespeare's Second Richard. Context: the poet wants to say that even the castle wall is not strong enough to guard the king. Explanation: King Richard's cousin Bolingbroke attacked him, and he knew that he would be defeated. He was with his loyal followers. At the time of utter dejection, he uttered these words. People may think that king's body cannot be penetrated, but at last death comes like a pin and enters the body to kill him. So his followers had to bid farewell to the king. Fourth one, how can you say to me, I am a king? Reference: these lines are taken from the poem The Hollow Crown, which is an excerpt from Shakespeare's Second Richard. Context: without any power, Second Richard cannot be called a king, and the kings and the subjects are equals. Explanation: King Richard's cousin Bolingbroke attacked him, and he knew that he would be defeated. He was with his loyal followers. At the time of utter dejection, he uttered these words. Kings are so no way better than the subject. The king lives with breads, feels lack of something, tastes in grief, and needs friends as all other subjects. So he is equal to his subject. He is asking his followers at the end of the passage how they could call him a king. Now, speaking activity: working with your partner. Discuss the following adages and share your views with the class. You may need to give your ideas and justify your point of view. Remember to take turns while making your presentation or short speech. War begets war. War is the outcome of jealousy, pride, and greed. War does not stop by itself. The victor will be confident to start another war, and the vanquished will try to take revenge. So at the end of the war, another war will be on the anvil. History makes it clear that the kings who were involved in wars would not be satisfied with one victory. They would try to prove their valor again and again. Those who lost the battle also would try again to get victory. In any case, war brings another war at the end of one. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. These are Shakespeare's words. He likes to emphasize that kings will always live in tension and stress. Their duty is such that they have to take care of their subject and the growth of the country. He should be careful that the neighboring king should not attack his kingdom. So all the time he would be vigilant and motivate the soldiers to protect the kingdom. Others may think proud of the king who wears the crown, but the one who wears the crown will always feel uneasy. Now we are going to learn some of the poetic devices. Personification. When human traits are given to non-human and inanimate objects. Interrogation. When a question is asked not for the sake of getting an answer but to express a point more emphatically. Metaphor. When two unlike objects or things having some common qualities are compared. Rhetorical question. When a question is formed to make a point rather than to elicit an answer. Internal rhyme. When rhyming words are used within a single line. Now, in these given lines, let's talk of graves of worms and epitaphs. Make dust a body, paper, and with rainy eyes. Write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. What poetic device used in this line? Metaphor. And yet not so, for what can we backward, save our deposed bodies to the ground? This is a rhetorical question. Keep death his coat, and there the antique sits. Personification. How can you say to me, I am a king? A rhetorical question. Scoffing his estate and grinning at his pomp. Alliteration. Bores through his castle wall and fable king. Metaphor. Pick out the alliteration from the following lines. Our lands, our lives, and all our Bolingbroke's lands and lives, because it starts with the same letter L. And tell sad stories of the death of kings. Sad stories. Both are started with the letter S. Comes at the last and with a little pin. Last little. Both are started with the letter L. Death has been cited in many ways in this monologue. Identify the poetic devices used in these references. Let's talk of graves of worms and epitaphs. Internal rhyming. Make dust a paper and with rainy eyes. Metaphor. Save our deposed bodies to the ground. Rhetorical question. And that small model of the barren earth which serves as paste and cover to our bodies. Simile. Keeps death his coat, and there the antique sits. Personification. Comes at the last and with a little pin bores through his castle wall and fable king. Metaphor. How can you say to me, I am a king? This is interrogation. Thank you. Thank you, students.